The days that I work usually start around 5 a.m. I get out of bed and immediately head downstairs as quietly as possible so I don't wake up the rest of the family. I head over to the mini fridge and mix up some pre-workout, then take that into the office to start drinking it as I get going on the 3D printing side of things. Side note, this is a pretty different type of video than I normally make, so I'd be really curious what you all think of it. Let me know down in the comments below. I enjoy seeing other people's processes and thought I'd share mine. Alright, so this area is kind of like the incoming area, so if I have shipping supplies or new filament that came in, I usually bring it downstairs and drop it right here. So we got some boxes right here that we'll have to put up on the shelf, and then over here we got some new filament in, so we got some stacks right here. So what I'll do is I'll unbox these and then I'll throw them over there on that lower shelf. Along the bottom shelf is where I keep all the new rolls of filament. Speaking of, recently I've been switching over to coax filament, made right here in Green Bay, Wisconsin. They make super high quality filament with plenty of types and colors to choose from. Best of all, if you use my code DW3DP at checkout, you're going to receive 10% off your order, you're going to support an American brand, and you're going to support me. So it's a win-win-win. Once again, that's code DW3DP at checkout to receive 10% off. And the reason I like to unbox them right away is so that I can quickly glance over at the lower shelf and see what colors I'm running low on. I used to break down all these boxes when I was using other brands, but since coax is right in town, I reached out to them and asked them if they'd be interested in reusing the boxes, to which they replied, yeah. So now I just stack them in a larger box and bring them back when I pick up my next order. It's pretty awesome. Alright, then I'll grab this partial box of boxes. So we'll have to assemble those, and I'll put these new ones up there for inventory. Right, and I usually try to run a set of prints overnight, so then the next thing I'll do is I'll start clearing off these print beds. So just grab them and haul them over here where they're waiting to be packed up. A couple other things, so I had an oddball larger jig right there. I've got some tabletops for a scaled down model that I'm building. I've got some clips for these wires because these are getting annoying and they don't look very good. So over here too. So I think if I can kind of take these up to the underside of this somewhere and then just clip the wire in there, we'll kind of clean it up a little bit. And then another scaled down model. This is a workbench for the shop that I'm building. So that over here, but yeah, I'll go ahead and I'll clear all these out and start packing up orders. Each one of these prints takes a little over 300 grams of filament, so I can safely run this print 3 times on a 1 kilogram spool before I have to swap out for a new spool. And a print takes about 9 hours, so I can't quite run a full spool through each day, but that's fine. What are you gonna do? So yeah, I'm starting to print some scaled down versions of things in my shop, so like tools and equipment and workbenches. So I'll just put all those parts and pieces in a box until they're all ready to go, then I can assemble them and I can shoot a video for that. But yeah, sneak peek, I'm going to be hopefully building a workshop this spring. So as I was clearing off printers, you might have seen me reach to the back and just kind of double check the amount of filament that I got left. It's kind of hard to judge, you know, when the spool's on the way back, but they all seem to have enough filament on them for another round of 7 jigs, so those will all be good to go. That one's good to go. How I kind of have this set up is like these 5 are my main workhorses. I use these 3 for like random prints and like prototyping, and then these on the bottom I'm testing out for a company. That video hopefully will be out shortly as well. And then you might have noticed these partial spools on the ground. So every time that I take a spool off of these 3, because that one's got an AMS and so does that one, if I have a partial spool on any of these, then I'll take that off and I'll put it on the ground. And then once I have a free spot in this AMS, I just load that color up here. as you can see, I've got a bunch of different colors in this one, and this AMS and printer I kind of have dedicated to using up like as much of the spool as I can. So once it gets done with the first color, it will automatically switch to the second and third and the fourth. And like I said, that way I can use up as much filament as possible, not really wasting any. And I'll just make some funky like jigs that are multicolor, totally random, and sell those as well. But yeah, that's why I've got the partial spools down there, and this machine's kind of dedicated to doing that. Alright, and this is where I pack all the orders. So I've got my bubble bags down here, and I can just start grabbing the sets of jigs and assembling them, and I toss them on the ground until I'm ready to put them in boxes. So here we go. I'm always looking for new ways to improve efficiency, and this is a huge example. When I first started packing these, I was using a giant roll of bubble wrap, would rip off a section at a time, wrap each piece in it, and then use some box tape to tape it up. That took so much time. Since then, I've switched to these bubble bags with an adhesive built right into them, so all I have to do is pack the item in the bag, rip off the protective strip, and seal it on itself. It's a giant time saver. Alright, next thing is we gotta pack all of those in boxes, but we gotta make some boxes first. So, just grab a stack and get going at it. A lesson learned here is that shipping can be pretty rough on packages. When I first started shipping these jigs, I would just send them out in a poly mailer bag, but after getting several returns because the items arrived broken, I knew I needed to switch to boxes. Boxes are more expensive than poly bags, and they also take time to assemble, which goes against what I just said about gaining efficiencies. But at the end of the day, obviously I want my products to arrive to my customers fully intact, and this is ultimately a better way to go. That's probably enough boxes for right now. Usually I just try to, make all of them that I can, but I'm running a little bit short on time this morning because I'm filming this video, so let's get these packed in here. First I'll go to the computer though, and I gotta print out some more of these box inserts. I really want to improve on this part of the packaging. I really like the way Chris from Off the Bench does his packaging info. It's really simple and clean, and I'm hoping I can improve on this in the future. Then I can just drop them in each one of these boxes. I found that stacking the same task like this is easier. It saves a little bit of time rather than, packing one order at a time, putting one slip in a box at a time, making one box at a time, so forth. So yeah, if there's anything in your process that you can start to stack, like putting all the items in a bubble bag at once, things like that will start to improve your workflow and your efficiency, and you can just get things done a little bit quicker. Alright, now we can assemble these boxes. So we'll just take one of the larger packs, medium pack, and a small pack, and that's a box. So I'll just do that for all of them real quick. So I will have to make more of these boxes. Ran out of them, and I still got some of these to pack up, but for right now, let's go ahead and move back to the computer and see what ones we got to ship out today. So right now I get most of my orders through TikTok Shop. I get some from Etsy, but those are the two main places, so I'll check those every morning and see what orders have come through, and then just go ahead and start printing them out. And again, try to print, all the same color that I can at one time. Then it's just a little bit easier to keep things straight and pack things up. Alright, print them out. And now we can stick them on the boxes. And since I know that I just made the shipping labels for all the neon green, then this again makes it really simple. Start packing these up. And stick some labels on. Last thing to do, once I have labels on all the items that are going out that day, then I can just tape up the edge. Alright, then I find a box like this that I can just pack them all up in and bring them upstairs and ship them out. And about this time the pre-workout has kicked in, so I'll go work out for a little bit and then I'll get ready for work. I usually run the printers during the day if my wife is going to be home, so I'll start those prints before I leave. And depending on my schedule for the day, whether it's meetings or site visits or whatever, I'll drop off the packages either before or after work or over my lunch hour. So today I don't have much going on in the morning, so I'll be dropping these off before I head into work. Lastly, product development and video editing typically happen at night once the kid's asleep. Then I head to bed to do this all over again. Thanks for watching.